What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Hope you're doing well, feeling great and enjoying freedom. It's a great day to have a great day. Today we're going to be talking about what 2,000 troy ounces of silver can buy you today at the current spot price. We're going to be answering a question related to the topic. We're going to be answering a list of other questions as well. We're going to get into it, but really quick, just in case you're new, make sure to subscribe for daily videos, subscribe to my second channel for weekly videos, get yourself some DYDSS merchandise to help support the channel. Come and join us in the Precious Metals VIP Club. And of course, go and get your 5 free stocks by downloading Webull and funding your account. Everything will be linked in the description. So today is Sunday, March 13th, 2022. As I'm posting the video, that is. Believe it or not, I'm filming it on Monday the 7th, 6 days in advance, which means I have no idea what the spot price is going to be by the time the video comes out. So head on down to the comments and let me know the date and time you're viewing the video and what the current spot price is for you. I'm always curious. So what we're going to do in today's video, being that this one's coming out on Sunday, it's time to run through some questions. It's time to do the weekly Sunday Q&A. Pretty excited about this one. Have a couple of questions that I screenshot here. If you have any questions for me, and if you'd like to be featured in next week's Q&A, head on down to the comments and ask whatever you want. Anything related to silver, anything related to gold, anything related to prepping, anything related to what I talk about on this channel. Ask away. So without any further ado, let's jump into these questions. The first one we have here is coming from Robert. And the question is, when it comes time to sell silver, what do you think is the best way to go? I've heard eBay is a good way, but I'm not that knowledgeable with computers. Good question. Thanks for asking. But this is going to be the only question of the whole video that I'm going to run through as quickly as possible, and I'll explain why that is in a second. Short answer is there are a couple different ways you can sell silver. You could sell it to the local coin shop, which is probably where you get a majority of your silver, or at least where you probably should get a majority of your silver. Support your local coin shop. So you can sell it back to them. The pro is that you don't have to worry about a paper trail. There's probably not going to be a paper trail. But the con is that you're probably not going to get the greatest premium that you can. You're probably not going to get the maximum amount of cash per ounce over spot by selling to the local coin shop. But on the flip side, you can sell it online. You could sell it on eBay, which is what you brought up. You can sell it on social media. There's a couple of different ways you can go about doing this. Now, the con is that there absolutely will be a paper trail, but if that's not something you're worried about, that's just irrelevant. Don't worry about it then. But the pro is that you can charge a higher premium, and you'd be working with other members of the silver and gold stacking community, where in this community, it kind of is you scratch my back, I scratch yours. That's generally the way it is. And you can visit some of the online precious metal dealing websites and see what kind of premiums they're charging. So just charge quite literally anything less than that, and you should be good to go. So the reason I wanted to run through that question as quickly as possible is because every week, every Sunday when I do these Q&As, I'd noticed that it seems like the last couple of weeks, I'm answering the same question over and over again asked by different people when it comes to how to go about selling. So for anybody wondering, or for anybody who wants more of a descriptive answer, just type in on YouTube, Mykie DYDSS, selling my silver, where and how. I just posted a video a couple weeks ago talking about that and really deep diving into that. Anyway, next question is coming from Snow Wolf 1999, asking me, is it better to buy gold coins or gold nuggets? Good question. Interesting question. To be honest with you, I don't really know a whole lot about gold nuggets. I'm a gold coin type of guy. As you can see on display right there, I have a nice little stack or a nice little display of fractional gold coins, quarter rounds and 10th ounce coins from a bunch of different countries. Between the two, gold coins versus gold nuggets, or gold coins versus gold rounds, or gold rounds versus gold bars, it really comes down to what your goal is. It really comes down to what your intentions are. What do you want out of the gold? See, for me, I like gold coins, even when it comes to silver. For the most part, I like silver coins. I'm not really overly involved in generic silver. I have some generic silver, but if I had to choose, and if the premiums were exactly the same, I would go after the coins. And the reason for that is because having a government minted coin, something that was minted by a sovereign government, it's almost like an additional layer of security on top of the security features that the coin already may or may not have. A lot of coins do have some form of a security feature. But even if it doesn't, the fact that it was minted by a sovereign government is almost like a security feature in and of itself, because you can't replicate it. And if you try to replicate it, highly, highly illegal. You cannot do that. You can replicate a round or a bar, and if you were to pass it off as though it was real, as though it was authentic, it's frowned upon. But if you're to counterfeit money, government minted coins with face value, that's a big, big crime. And a lot of people out there are not willing to take that risk. So to me, it's almost like an extra layer of security. And not only that, far more recognizable. See, like I said before, I don't really know very much about gold nuggets, but I do know a thing or two about gold bars. And there are a lot of different types of generic gold bars out there. And in a way, you could potentially run into the same problem as you would with a gold nugget, which is that a potential buyer might not know what it is. They might not recognize it, or they might be looking for something that has a higher level of notoriety, which is why I go after the coins. They have a higher level of notoriety. They are more recognizable, and not only that, they're trusted, respected, and desired all around the world, no matter where you go. People know exactly what they are. That's what people are looking for. That's what is sought after. And to me, that just makes the most sense. So I would put gold nuggets in the same category as gold bars for the most part. Maybe not exactly, but they're not coins. They're not government minted coins. So it really just comes down to personal preference. It depends on what you want out of it. I want the recognition. I want it to be trusted and desired and recognized by as many people as possible, if the day comes where I choose to sell. And I don't plan on selling, but if push comes to shove, I want to have something that people are familiar with. So it all comes down to personal preference. That's my preference between the two. Next question is coming from Scott, asking me, Mykie, do you want to do an interview with a precious metals hedging broker that works with silver? I don't see why not, but I gotta ask. Am I interviewing him or is he interviewing me? I don't exactly know what's going on. You also gotta let me know who this person is and where they work, and I guess somewhat of their track record. I don't want to hop on a phone call with somebody that I have no idea about. I want to know where they work. I want to know what they've done. I just want to be familiar with who they are. And also, who's interviewing who? Next question is coming from the best looking subscriber this channel has, Mykie DYDSS 2, asking me, how much longer do we have to get 10 free stocks? Good question. For those of you that don't know, like I said at the beginning of the video, if you simply download Webull and fund your account, they're going to give you 5 free stocks just for doing so, only for the next couple of days. Usually it's 2. They bumped it up to 5 just temporarily, so now is the time to capitalize. And you can fund your account with like $1 or even a penny if you want. You don't have to deposit hundreds of dollars. And until March 15th, which is only 2 days away, you have 48 hours left. If you refer just one friend to the app, one person that you know, Webull will give you 10 free stocks for the referral. So if you download the app, fund your account, and just tell one human being about it, that'll be 15 free stocks in grand total. And if you refer 3 friends before the end of the month, you have a couple weeks left to do this, not 48 hours. If you refer 3 friends by the end of March, they will give you a spin on the Weeble wheel, which guarantees you at least 1 free share of Apple. And you have the chance of winning 2, 3, 5, 7, maybe even 10 free shares of Apple just for telling your friends about an app that you'd probably ordinarily tell them about anyway, because if it's an app that you use and if it's an app that you like, why would you not tell people about it? I've told a lot of people about it, and I'm a big fan of Weeble. I like it. It's pretty cool that a good portion of their advertising budget goes to just rewarding their users for advertising their app for them, rather than just putting all that into billboards and TV commercials and whatnot. It's pretty cool. Weeble link in the description. You only have 48 hours left. Next question is coming from Lewis, asking me, what are your thoughts on saving US nickels? I try not to save paper money at home in case of a fire, even though I do have a safe in the basement. Good question. To tell you the truth, when it comes to nickels, that's really the one coin that I'm not super into. And also, I'm just going to go ahead and assume that you're talking about war nickels. I'm just going to go ahead and assume you're talking about the 35% silver nickels. Now, the reason I'm not overly interested in 35% silver is the same exact identical reason as I'm not personally interested in 40% silver. I've made videos about this in the past as well. 40% silver half dollars, for example, not really my thing. I have a nice handful of 40% half dollars, but it's only because I found them. I did not convert my dollars into them. I don't believe I ever would convert my dollars into them unless I got them for pretty close to spot, and then I'd be very tempted to trade them for 90% silver so I can reduce the bulk but still have the same amount of value, or as close to the same amount of value as possible. 35% silver, I put that in the same category. Now sure, it absolutely stands a far better chance than the dollar bill, but the problem with 35% or 40% silver is that so much of the coin is not even silver. This is what I always said about 40% silver. It's a 40% silver coin, that just means it's 60% not silver. So it just takes up way more room than it needs to. But at the same time, I got to admit, war nickels, 35% silver, 40% silver, whatever the percentages, or whatever coins we're talking about, older constitutional coins, they're pretty cool. They're pretty fun. They're interesting. I like to read about them. I like to learn about them. I have not gone to a coin show in the 4 years that I've been stacking. I should probably get on that. But if you attend coin shows, you can network with a lot of people from all over the place. And a lot of people who attend coin shows are probably a little bit more into the numismatic coins, so I'm sure that they will have tons of war nickels and coins from that time period on display and whatnot. And like I said, I haven't been to a coin show, but I would like to go to a coin show. Just because I'm not stacking war nickels or 35% silver or 40% silver coins doesn't mean that I hate them. I just don't think that they're overly practical, and I don't think that they really align with what my stacking goals are, if that makes sense. So I'll leave it at that. Next question we have is actually the final question of the night, and it's coming from Tim, asking me, how many ounces of silver are in a wheelbarrow? This was in reference to a video that I posted probably close to a week ago. And in the video, I had mentioned something about how you don't want to wait until it's too late to frantically try to figure out a way to sell your silver and run to the coin shop with a wheelbarrow full of silver. I'm pretty sure I said something along those lines. So the question is, how many ounces of silver are in a wheelbarrow? It was asked as a joke. I'm answering it as a joke, but I'm kind of using it as kind of like a segue to what I actually wanted to talk about. Because I actually thought about this question. I thought about it before the question was even asked, because when I said it, I thought to myself afterwards, how much silver could I fit in the wheelbarrow? Because I got a wheelbarrow in the back. And I was thinking about it. I was like, I know I wouldn't have a problem in the world fitting several hundreds of troy ounces of silver in there. I could definitely fit 1,000. And if I stack it up, I don't know if it'd be overflowing at that point, but I'm pretty sure I can get away with putting probably 2,000 troy ounces of silver in that wheelbarrow. It's a pretty big wheelbarrow, by the way. So, once again, the question was asked as a joke. I'm answering it as a joke, but I wanted to talk about this today because it gave me an idea for the general theme or the overall topic of the video. What can 2,000 troy ounces of silver buy you today at the current spot price? Now, again, I'm filming this video 6 days before it comes out. 6 days in the stacking or investing world might as well be 6 years. A lot can happen in that small window of time. Spot price can be way up high, spot price can be way down low, but as I'm filming the video, spot price, premium excluded, spot price is about $25. So that's the number I'm going to run with. 2,000 troy ounces of silver. For those of you who are wondering what that is worth in dollar bills, if you were to measure it in dollar bills, 2,000 troy ounces of silver at $25 an ounce, about $50,000. That's a lot of dollars. That's a lot of currency. That's a lot of fiat. And it got me thinking, what could we do with $50,000? Or should I say $50,000 worth of silver? Or should I say 2,000 troy ounces? What could those 2,000 troy ounces of silver buy us today, assuming that the price tag attached to it is $50,000? Well, the short answer is you could do a lot of stuff with 2,000 troy ounces of silver. For example, since right now it's worth about $50,000, $50,000 is what a lot of people make a year. That's a whole annual salary right there. That's someone's yearly income. A lot of people's yearly income, $50,000. And if you're someone like me, who is somewhat of an outside-the-box type of thinker, somebody who thinks in a very strange way, I guess you can say that 2,000 troy ounces of silver can buy an entire year of someone's life. Now, it might sound weird if you are an inside-the-box type of thinker. Why can $2,000 buy an entire year of somebody's life? Simple. The same way $50,000 can. That's why they have their job. That's why their boss pays them $50,000 a year. See, that's what the job is at the end of the day. Your boss, or the company you work for, lets you know how much a year of your life or how much an hour of your time is worth to them. And you don't really have much of a say in the matter. That's just the way it is. Because that's what a job is at the end of the day. We're all salespeople. We go to work, we clock in, and what do we do for 8 hours? We sell our time. It's sad, depressing to think about, especially when wording it the way that I did, but it's true if you think about it. But what else can 2,000 troy ounces of silver buy you today? Again, if it's worth $50,000, sounds like a 20% down payment on a $250,000 house right now. A $250,000 house. Pretty nice size house, assuming it's not in New Jersey. For $250,000, you would almost have enough to buy a one-car garage here in New Jersey. But most other states, you can get a pretty nice house for $250,000. And if you put 20% down, $50,000, aka 2,000 troy ounces of silver. What else can we get with 2,000 troy ounces of silver? If we wanted to, we could probably get a less expensive luxury car. like maybe a BMW 328i. I'm pretty sure you can get one of those for $50,000, maybe less. If you're into depreciating assets, that is. I'm personally not. I'm not a car guy. I don't like cars. But it is something you could do. Go and get yourself a $50,000 car. Imagine trading away 2,000 troy ounces of silver. Imagine taking a wheelbarrow of 2,000 troy ounces of silver to the dealership and buying yourself a car. It doesn't really work that way, but just for the sake of the video. Also, just in case anybody was wondering, how much does 2,000 troy ounces of silver weigh? This is something that I should have calculated beforehand, but I'm pretty sure it's close to 150 pounds. 130, 140, 150 pounds. Which isn't that heavy, but probably not ideal to be walking around with all day. You'd probably need a wheelbarrow. But on top of that, there's something else that I wanted to point out. And that is 2,000 troy ounces of silver, especially with the way that I've been wording it and the way that I structured this video. 2,000 troy ounces of silver, to a lot of people, probably sounds like a crazy amount of silver. That sounds like such a foreign number when it comes to troy ounces of silver, especially with spot price being a little bit higher and premiums getting cranked up starting about 2 years ago. It's kind of tough to get our hands on massive amounts of silver. Unless, of course, you make massive amounts of currency. Sure, maybe for you it's no problem. But for the average Joe, for myself, for a lot of people watching this right now, we probably can't just hit up the local coin shop and go home with 2,000 troy ounces of silver. We probably don't have $50,000 cash, just locked and loaded and ready to go. Ready to just inject into a whole bunch of metals. Probably doesn't work that way. I know it doesn't work that way for me over here. And 2,000 troy ounces in total is not a number that I have worked my way up to just yet. See, we all dream of turning that small pile of silver into a mountain of silver. Everything you see on display right here, this is nowhere near my entire stack, but it's a nice little selection. It's all just a little pile of silver right here. This is how a lot of people get started. So what you see right here on display, imagine turning this little pile of silver into a mountain of silver. We all want to be able to dedicate a bedroom of the house to just being a big giant safe. Forget a door. Just make it a vault. Big giant safe full of silver. A guy can dream, but here's the thing. To fill an entire room, you need way more than 2,000 troy ounces of silver. In fact, if you were to put 2,000 troy ounces of silver on a table and just look at it, I'm going to be honest with you, it would probably be pretty underwhelming. I think you would go in with higher expectations, and then you'd see it and be like, oh, that's it? This is what 2,000 troy ounces looks like? Now, of course, I wouldn't hate on it. I wouldn't discredit it. I wouldn't sleep on 2,000 troy ounces of silver. But it's not as much as you think. Now, I know a lot of people haven't seen 2,000 troy ounces of silver. I don't own 2,000 troy ounces of silver, so I can't say for sure that I know what 2,000 troy ounces looks like, but it's not nearly as much as people think. And what's interesting is that for those of you, if you're stacking the way I'm stacking at least, if you've been consistent over the years, or even over the months, maybe you haven't been stacking for years at this point. Maybe it's only been a couple of months, 3, 4, 5, 6 months or whatever. If you stay consistent, like I said before, that small pile of silver will eventually turn into a mountain of silver. Same for the gold, by the way. Same for the gold. And what's interesting is that all it takes is consistency, hard work, dedication, goal setting, and you have to be driven. It's very easy to get discouraged while stacking. Very similar to how it's easy to get discouraged when investing. And by the way, speaking of investing, let me just say this. With 2,000 troy ounces of silver, roughly worth about $50,000. That $50,000, if you were to invest that into an asset with a 4% yield, that would pay you $2,000 extra a year, every year for the rest of your life. So $50,000 can go a long way. I know $2,000 a year doesn't sound like very much, but 2,000 extra bucks a year on top of what you're already making? I don't think anybody would pass that up. Why would you? So I just wanted to throw that in there because that's something that I forgot to mention before. Something else you can do with 2,000 troy ounces of silver if that's what you wanted. But anyway, when it comes to stacking or investing, it's very easy to get discouraged, especially at the beginning. The reason I say that is because when you get started, doing anything, by the way, it doesn't even have to be anything finance related. Your first day in the gym, your first day on the job, and you're in training, whatever it is that you're working on. When you first get started, you're probably excited, probably enthusiastic. You probably have a lot of expectations. You're eager to learn. You're willing to learn. You're coachable. And you just want to hit the ground running. And you very quickly realize when you do hit the ground, you don't hit the ground running, you hit the ground crawling. See, the amount of silver that we're able to stack, it's pretty much in direct proportion to however much currency we have left over at the end of the month after we got done selling all of our time, after we got done selling 40 hours a week for the last 4 weeks, and then we took care of the bills to keep a roof over our head, food in the fridge, clothes on our back, car is paid for, phone is paid for, insurance is paid for, everything is paid for. How much do we have left at the end of the month? Like $7? Can't get a whole lot of silver at the end of the month. But little by little, it adds up over time. Even if you're only able to pick up a small handful of 90% junk constitutional coins, maybe you pick up $1 face value, $5 face value at a time. It's not a whole lot. It's not a massive contribution to the stack, but it adds up over time. The compound effect is a real thing, which means if you take small, steady steps in the right direction, it will eventually take you to where you want to go. Again, that's when it comes to stacking. That's when it comes to investing. That's when it comes to getting into shape. That's when it comes to a new job. When you get done training and you work your way up the ladder a little bit, it's all the same thing. You have to start somewhere, and slow, steady, consistent steps in the right direction will eventually take you to where you want to go. And that's what I like about silver. See, I don't pick up a whole lot of silver. Every time I pick up silver, it's not a massive contribution to the stack, but it adds up little by little. Very, very slowly. It doesn't really seem like it's adding up a lot of the time, but guess what? By the time you blink your eyes, boom, you'll be where I'm at, a little over 4 years deep. The reason I say that is because I know a lot of people watching this right now have been stacking for a shorter period of time than I've been stacking for. So if you've been stacking for 1 year, or 6 months, or 2 years, or 10 years, whatever the case may be, see how far you've come, and then think about where you'll be when you double the amount of time that you've been stacking for. If you've been stacking for 2 years, think about where you're going to be in 4. If you've been stacking for 5 years, think about where you're going to be in 10. Just think about it like that. It's incredibly motivating, and I assure you, that pile of silver will be a whole lot closer to a mountain of silver once you get to that point, as long as you stay consistent. But that's what I wanted to talk about in today's video. Again, if anybody has any questions for me, head on down to the comments and ask away. Anything silver, gold, prepping related, be more than happy to answer your question in next week's Q&A video. And if there's anything that I answered in this video that you would like to extend on, you're more than welcome to do so in the comments. If you guys like today's video, please hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, subscribe to my second channel, which is my backup channel for weekly videos. Go and get yourself some DYDSS merchandise to help support the channel in the biggest possible way. We got t-shirts, hoodies, stickers, coffee mugs in a bunch of different designs. We have the limited edition, luck has nothing to do with it, t-shirt and hoodie, only available until St. Patrick's Day. Get one while you can. A portion of the proceeds are going to St. Baldrick's Foundation. DYDSS store will be linked in the description. Come and join us in the Precious Metals VIP Club, which is where I do giveaways every single month, live streams multiple times a week, deal alerts on silver and gold every single day. You can watch all of my videos early and commercial free. I just posted a brand new adventure vlog Saturday morning. That one was pretty interesting. And there are a ton of other perks as well, and I guarantee you the value exceeds the cost. VIP Club link in the description. And of course, last but certainly not least, make sure to go and get your 5 free stocks by downloading Webull and funding your account. Remember, it's usually 2. They bumped it up to 5 just for the next couple of days, so capitalize on that while you can. If you refer 1 friend in the next 48 hours, they will give you 10 free random stocks for the referral. And if you refer 3 friends before the end of the month, they will give you a spin on the Webull wheel where you're guaranteed at least 1 free share of Apple with the chance of winning 2, 3, 5, 7, maybe even 10 free shares of Apple. Don't pass up on an opportunity. Webull link in the description. Time is running out. And I want you guys to head on down to the comments and let me know once again, what are your thoughts on everything shared in today's video? When it comes to all the questions that I was asked, if you'd like to extend on my answer, if you'd like to piggyback on that or build onto how I answered the questions, you're more than welcome to do so. But more importantly, if you have any questions for me, if you'd like to be featured in the next Q&A video, head on down to the comments and ask away. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you tomorrow. Don't you dare stop smiling. Peace.